I believe, Rodney, that he wanted them to let him go, and he wanted them to be the ones to do it because now he can kind of use that as motivation and he can prove them wrong, and that's going to be the measuring stick. What do the Jets do without him? What does he do if he goes somewhere else? So I'm not surprised by any of what happened this week. I am surprised they ultimately took the bait and did it, but I just think they don't care. Like Aaron Glenn was saying, this is about the roster. We got to make decisions. We're going to play games. We're not going to get into this public relations back and forth, and we're going to play chess with Aaron Rodgers and try to get him to be the one who says he wants out. They don't care. We're moving on. It's a new day in New York. If Aaron Rodgers wants to claim later that he wanted to stay and we didn't want him and we're the bad guys, boo-hoo, we don't care. That's the vibe I got from it.
Absolutely. And I look at Aaron Glenn and I love what he came in and what he tried to do. I mean, this is his big first step in establishing himself as the head coach, trying to hold guys accountable and stepping up and saying to Aaron Rodgers, the most popular guy on the team, if you can't be part of OTAs, if you can't be part of mini camps, if you can't do all the team things we need to do to build this team, then you can't be a part of this team. And I thought that was huge. I thought that was a huge moment because when other players step back and they see what you're doing with Aaron Rodgers, that gives them a certain respect and a certain reverence for you. And I think his approach is the right way. He's like, look, this is no nonsense. We're trying to win football games. If you want to be here, you're going to be here. If you don't want to be here, we're going to get rid of you. And I love it. And I think that was a huge first step as him establishing himself as the head coach of this team.
And I really do believe, and I know people are going to be, oh, you just hate Aaron Rodgers. But I believe he was a weight on that team. I believe that he dragged them down, his presence. At first, it was all positive. But then when he tears his Achilles tendon, and you were there in New England when Tom Brady suffered a torn ACL week 1, he didn't hover around the team. He didn't talk about maybe I'll come back this year, maybe I'll be ready to go. He didn't create a distraction. Rodgers was just always there, like a fog that wouldn't go away in the 2023 season. And they ended up being competitive. They were better in 23 without him than they were in 24 with him. But just that hanging around and the center of attention and doing Pat McAfee's show every Tuesday and constantly adding another log to the fire. And he can't help himself. He just can't help himself. And the Jets never should have done it. They never should have done it. And I'm sure they would admit that if they were on a lie detector test or given truth serum. But that's why I respect the fact that they recognize this can't continue. We need to move in a new direction, even if we gave up draft picks, even if we paid him a lot of money, even if we signed not all of his, but several of his friends and former teammates and traded for Devontae Adams and did this and did that. We're just going to admit that it was a mistake, and we're going to move forward.
Yeah, and the thing about Aaron Rodgers, and I would say this, the one thing I love about Coach Belichick, he would always come in and talk about not being a distraction to your teammates. And that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers has been. I mean, I would feel very uncomfortable if Tom Brady, every week after the game, if he was on your show giving the State of the Union address about what's going on with our team every single week. That would frustrate me. And I tell you, I guarantee you it frustrated a lot of guys in that locker room because they're saying you're more concerned about doing media, doing TV, as opposed to doing the things that's right in this locker room. So I understand the big picture with Aaron Rodgers, but at the end of the day, he's 40-some years old. He's coming off a major injury, and he can't play on that level that we're used to seeing him. Yeah, we're used to seeing the MVP level, but he's not on that level, but he still walks around with that same arrogance, that same cockiness, thinking that he's the Aaron Rodgers of 10 years ago, and he's not. He's a completely different player.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.